Hey, hello and welcome to this episode of the Projector project. My name is Diederik, and I felt called to record this message. And it's all about taking up your space and playing big. That's what's coming through. So come and join me, and we'll see what comes through, okay? All right. Whee! All right. I just had the opportunity, I gave myself permission, space and time, to meditate here on this little hilltop. I'm here in Spain. I went for a little walk this morning, and yeah, a lot of things came up. So let's talk about it, and like I said, let's see what comes through. So for those that don't know me, my name is Diederik. I am a projector, a 5-1 splenic projector. I have a defined heart center and splenic center, of course. And I'm a quad right, so some of you may have seen my quad right video. And being quad right is all about being receptive and having the message come through you, coming through me. So I'm going to be open to the message and speak my truth. And space, time, and speaking truth are big themes that came up as inspiration to record this video. So let me double check and see if I'm recording, just in case. Yes, I am. Good. So, also I may have dog hair hanging off of me somewhere, in case you're wondering what that is. Okay, so I was listening to this beautiful meditation, and it was asking me to take my space. In Dutch, it's neem je ruimte. Neem je ruimte in. Take up your space. Claim your space, but the direct translation is take your space. And I immediately got this image of being in a room at a long table, where I'm sitting at the head of the table. There's one chair at the other head, and there's like 5 chairs on each side, left and right. And it's like there's people sitting there, there's energies there. And I was just, okay, let me clear the table, let me clear the chairs. Like I said, okay, everybody out of the chairs. Like, this is my space. I claim my table. And then I was like, okay, there's a room, and I can see 2 doors on the left. There's 2 doors. There's 2 doors on the right, and then one at the end behind the chair. There's another door. And there's no doors behind me. Behind me is a wall. And I was like, okay, let me close these doors. And there was already a little bit of like, ooh, like I'm taking up my space. Like I'm pushing out and taking space for myself. Like I'm taking this space, and these doors are closed and they're locked, and only I can open them. And I hear people knocking on the door. I hear all kinds of things. I heard people, hey, can I come in? I hear, hey, like, why is this closed? I even heard like a hey, like a bonking, a bonk up the door, like tuck tuck tuck, like, how dare you close this door? I even heard that. And then also some like, please, like, I need your help, can you open this door? Like, I heard all the voices. And then I was like, okay, this is my space. Like, I'm always allowed to take up my space. This is my space. And so I just quieted down the voices, and I was just like, just being in my own energy, especially as a projector, is huge. We absorb other people's auras, and so without knowing, like, our doors are open often, and we have people sitting at our table, and it's just like, ooh, I need space, So let's just make sure So that was one thing, and it was really wonderful, like the space I created. And in this meditation, like this person that was guiding this group meditation, in this recording, was like, take your space, take it. And then something else came up. I like, even just like sitting for this 30-minute meditation over there, I was like, okay, I've got the space now, but what about the time? Like I got to do, there's things I got to do. Like I want to record this video, like da 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 da. And I was like, okay, now I not only give myself permission to take my space, but I give myself permission to take my time. And that also just opened up so much space. And especially as projectors, we're not here to be doing. We're here to be being. It's not in how much we do. Let's see if I can grab it like this. The microphone still works. And my cup, which is now awkwardly hanging. Got it. That's what you get for not having a tripod with you. Ooh. Okay. Sorry guys, it's a little clunky this morning. I wasn't expecting to be recording a video. So, just doing that. So much came up. Taking space and taking my time. And I've also given myself permission to do this in these videos, Like, give myself the time. Give myself the space. And funny enough, going back to these voices at the door, like when you take your space, people are like, who are you to take your space? Like who or how dare you? And there is this thing, like when you take your space, and this is usually when also like I feel like my authenticity comes through. It triggers other people, especially if they don't give themselves their space. The space to just feel what's coming through, also your body, like any things that are not flowing, trauma, shame, guilt, like all these things, right? It's a whole experience. And in a way, that's part of the playing big that I mentioned earlier too. Like this is playing big, is taking your space, claiming your space, and saying like, no, no, I'm not going to open this door. Saying okay, and also give myself permission. Yes, I'll open the door, and like, oh yes, you can sit at this table, but also like under these conditions, like these are my non-negotiables, these are my needs, etc., etc. This is what I want, and I speak my truth at this table. And speaking of truth, I was having some vulnerable conversations with someone, and I just found myself. She even said like, beating around the bush, kind of like tap dancing around something, because like I just wasn't being fully honest. And I feel like I wasn't. Sorry guys. Again, I apologize. I also, having a cup in my hand means I can't switch hands. So it's like trying to keep it balanced and make sure the sound isn't muffled. So thank you for joining me on this experience that's just happening in the moment. Just making sure I wasn't pushing buttons and not recording. That would be a shame, because I do really want to share this and be a witness to what's moving through me. And yeah, so going back to this, like speaking my truth, it's like I found myself kind of tap dancing around the truth of what I wanted to say, because I was trying to manipulate and control how my message was going to be received. Because I think the unconscious truth is that I was afraid that if I spoke my truth, I, one, might not get the outcome I want. It could be misunderstood, but really it's like I might not get what I want by speaking the truth. So by like tap dancing around it and like adding a whole bunch of extra details, I can kind of like already anticipate, I can already kind of like get ahead of possible resistance to what I'm saying. And I just felt like it's not empowering. It's just, yeah, it just actually didn't really feel good. Because that is the truth. When we speak our truth, yeah, some people are really not gonna like it, and they're gonna raise their voice. They're gonna, leave a nasty comment. They might have things to say, and of course, all of that is just a reflection of them, right? I understand that, but we're also just human. And part of the journey of stepping into our power and playing big is to know that your playing big is going to trigger someone's playing small. And someone's playing big may also trigger you playing small, whatever area of your life that might be in. I don't know if you noticed this much more smooth transition of cups from one hand to the other. So yeah, like this taking of space and taking of time, giving myself permission to do those two things. And just speak my truth about what I want. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I can speak the truth of what I want. And then just surrendering. And just, I gotta say, like, for me, I had a spiritual awakening kind of out of nowhere 7 years ago. I'm now 37. The day I turned 30, I had a spiritual experience where just Kundalini awakening. I saw like an image of a snake wrapping itself. Like it was like, it was it was a lot as it was happening, but it was totally manageable. But what I realized is what led up to that and what kept me in that energy was honesty towards myself and the other person or persons or whoever is included in that. Like, honesty is the key. And what I mean by that is like, or truth. You speak your truth, you speak it honestly, and then after that it's out of your hands. But because you spoke your truth and because you were honest with yourself, that's the most important thing. Like, that's love. A friend of mine said, and it stuck with me, she said, if I'm not being truthful, I'm not being loving. And to turn it around, if I'm not being loving, it means I'm not being truthful. And it starts with self-love. So being honest, like, where am I not giving myself the space? Where am I not giving myself time? Especially as projectors, because they say like the projector is about resting. It's about playing. It's about being big kids, really. Now, I would say that goes for everyone, of course. That goes for the generators and the manifestors, at least from a human design perspective. Reflectors, of course. Love you guys. And this is something you guys might resonate with, especially the projectors out there listening to this. Like, when you're resting, to actually give yourself permission to rest. Because I found in recent times, like, not actually giving myself the full permission to rest. Like, even though I'm like resting, I'm lying down in my bed with or without a phone in my hand, Netflixing or doing whatever, like, to not have this voice in my head being like, oh, there's things you need to do and there's only a limited amount of time to do them. You got to do them. If you don't do them, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And it's not only exhausting, it drains my life force, it drains my joy, and I actually end up doing less. There's this thing, and I've shared this in other videos, it's like, there's this human design thing around projectors. It's like, we already do the least of all the types in terms of doing. And if we can give ourselves permission to do even less than that, we will thrive even more and get more done. And I can tell you, I did a deep experimentation with this in January, February, and March of 2021. And even my generator partner at the time, like, she was noticing, like, I didn't send out messages anymore on WhatsApp. I just received them and saw that as invitation. That's a big one too, by the way, guys. Something that's coming through. I had a projector friend, and that was one of the things when he learned he was a projector and he needed to be invited, he stopped sending out so many WhatsApp messages. Mostly for wanting recognition and invitation, like forcing invitations. And when he stopped doing that, he got so much of his energy back. And I noticed the same when I experimented with this in, the early months of 2021, and I've kept that. And even when I receive messages, like, I take my time to respond to them. Sometimes it takes a week. Because to me too, like, if I'm answering a message because I'm afraid of what they're going to think if I take my time, it's like, what if they knew that if I responded to their message just out of stress or anxiety and not actually out of a place of being grounded and actually taking in fully what they're saying and taking my time to respond in an authentic, loving way. It's not only loving towards myself, but also loving to the person receiving the message. So I gave myself permission to just do that. And never apologizing. Sometimes some of them slip through the cracks, and it can be like 3 weeks. And just so you know too, like as projectors, we get invitations, but they do have expiration dates. So, sometimes I do notice that, okay, it feels like the invitation is gone, even when I've responded. And that's okay too. But yeah, like, and then there are the very rare ones, and this is something I'm really being honest with myself about. Is like, I keep thinking about responding to them. And I just don't. Maybe because I'm waiting for something, or like wanting to finish something first before I respond. That even there, maybe just sending a message, Okay, this one's not going to be as smooth. But and then also, like, when other people are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, it took me so long," I always tell them, like, please, like, take your time. Like, it sucks to know too, like, and I have to accept that if I send someone a message that they're stressing out, that there's a message sitting there. I have one manifestor client. She's always apologizing. I'm like, please take your time, and apologizing for long messages. I'm like, actually, you're a manifester. Like, you get your truth by just speaking it, like having space to just speak without being interrupted. So I'm like, you're doing it right. Give yourself permission to do that. I love it. Not that you need my permission, but as far as our interaction is concerned, like, I give you permission. Please do it. Take your time and leave the long messages. And there's another practical thing, guys, out there. I'm wondering what you guys are thinking, but lately I've been gotten into the habit of sending like longer voice messages, almost as a substitute for calling someone. And I found there's many advantages to this. One, I can really take my time to sit with myself and formulate my thoughts. Two, it gives the other person not only space and time, but permission to take the time to respond and sit with it and maybe even listen to it multiple times. It gives them the time to record a response when it feels right for them and when they can take the time for themselves and therefore connect with themselves and me. And then when I receive it, it gives me time to do it. And because sometimes with a phone call, now I got to be ready, I got to be there, like, we got to plan. This is actually a really good alternative, especially if you have friends and family, colleagues, kids, partners that are, at a distance, potentially across the ocean. I'm in Europe right now. I've got a lot of friends in North America and Central America. So the 7 to 9 hour time difference, this is a way to bridge that. So this is a lot of stuff, but it's all around taking space and taking time and giving myself permission to do those things, and therefore also automatically give other people permission to do the same. And as projectors, it's so important that we do, and as we do, and as we play big, we are a lighthouse. So we're not only a lighthouse for people looking for the light and then coming to us and becoming magnetic to these invitations. We're also going to attract people whose darkness is being lit up by our light. Like, our light is shining on their darkness, and it can be intimidating for them. It can be triggering for them. It can be triggering in a positive way where they acknowledge, like, okay, I'm being triggered, but I want to reach out to this person. I want to know what they have to say. I want to be in their presence, because I feel like there's a healing component to it, and I'm willing to take my responsibility for whatever is being triggered, and I want to work with that. It could also be the other triggering, where it's like, oh, I don't want to feel this, and how dare you make me feel this, right? Smooth transition? Is this a smooth transition? So yeah, this visualization of the room was really helpful, and then bringing it back to that, and then quieting the voices, which are really just the voices in my head, right? And taking up the space. My goodness, like, man, when we take up our space, we give space for other things to come in. Especially for those people that are splenic projectors out there, or splenic authority. You know, I see you manifestors, right? Only manifestors and projectors, at least within the human design system, can have a splenic authority. You know, they say that the spleen is all about the intuitive messaging of your body, and it's like a hush. It's like a turn left at the fork, you know. And if you miss it, it only repeats once. So it's like, what? Turn left? What? And then you get in your mind. If you're even hearing the intuitive messaging in the first place. And the only way to hear it is to quiet the mind and to quiet your feelings, and then you do that by taking space. And really what you're doing is you're taking space in your body. You're giving yourself space in your body, and when you don't do that, it just means that the space is full, and it makes it hard to sleep. It makes it hard to relax. It makes it hard to think clearly, to receive your intuition, or receive messages from spirit guides, or just other types of guidance, or be able to really have that expansive awareness to be able to take in more information. So you know, it's really important, and you know, we're not just creating space in ourselves for rest. We're creating space in ourselves for a new world that we're creating for ourselves, and creating that for others as well. You know, call it the new earth, or whatever you want to call it. Like, it starts within our own bodies, within the space of our own consciousness. And so giving yourself permission to do that is playing big, and it's also such a loving thing to do. I feel like I've been yeah, just like, there's a lot of playfulness to this too, you know? Like, I'm giving myself permission to play. I give myself permission to be gentle with myself, to be grateful, to giving myself that space. Like, even in this meditation, and as I was visualizing this room and closing these doors and quieting everything and sitting at an empty table, you know, I heard the voices in my own head, like, not just the voices I was imagining on the other side of those closed doors, but also just like, you know, like, yeah, who are, you know, like, yeah, but you got to do this and that. And that's when I said, okay, actually, this voice, I recognize it, and I let it go. I just kind of tossed it to the left, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give myself time, permission to take time. And permission to enjoy and to play and to be grateful for the space. And to actually be able to hear the sounds and witness the bees jumping from flower to flower in that tree. And to smell the smells. To smell the spring, and yeah, hear the birds, and feel the wind, feel my body, feel where there's potentially some tension and pressure. So yeah, guys, especially as projectors, like, the more room you take in for yourself, take the room that is yours. It's not even just taking, it's claiming your space. Taking your space, it's really, it's yours. Claim it. that alone is playing big in our own psyche, in our own consciousness, and it translates into everything else. It translates to our relationships with our friends, our family, especially our romantic partners. As projectors, it's so important that we take that space, because we're already so open, and especially if you have a lot of openness in your design, you're going to be conditioned by them. So you have to make space to recognize where the conditioning is, and that's a beautiful thing, by the way, because that's your wisdom. The conditioning of the other is the wisdom, because it basically means like, hey, the conditioning is basically just a message, and if you understand that this isn't yours, then you can see the message, and then you can communicate with the other through means of that message, using their language to connect with them, and be able to share your wisdom in a way that it's going to land, if you're invited, of course. So, yeah, and when you have that space, you can also speak up. Again, going back to this, being honest. Be honest about what you need. Be honest about what you're feeling. Be honest about your fears. This is the divine masculine as well, or just your inner divinity, where you can speak your truth without needing anything from anyone. It's not, I feel this because you did or said . It's just, I feel this. And I don't even need you to do anything. I just need to speak my truth, and whatever comes from that, comes from that. Whatever the outcome is, I accept it. Even if it means I get a no, even if it means I get rejected, then I'm not getting rejected for who I am. It's just not flowing for the other person. Whatever it is that I'm saying, speaking my truth to, whether it's a decision they need to make based on the truth I'm saying. And you know what? Like, in the end, guys, like, especially as projectors, we're not for everyone, right? They talk about the projector having that 100% match, and there aren't. I mean, I'm blessed that I feel part of a global tribe of people, my soul tribe, and I feel deeply seen, and I have so many of these amazing people in my life that see me. And when I do speak my truth, and I feel like, oh, like, are they going to love me less for me speaking my truth? No, they actually love me more. I even have one friend, when I speak my anger, which I didn't used to do as a kid, I didn't give voice to my anger. It happened once in a men's circle, and again in a podcast recording, which I'll send a link to in the description if you're interested. It's about, I think this one was, anger being a gateway to power and freedom. That's the one. So grief, or anger and grief being a gateway to power and freedom. And he actually would say, like, wow, actually hearing you kind of like giving voice to your anger actually makes not only me relax, it makes me able to connect with you more. And those are the people we want in our lives, guys. Our energy, our attention, and our presence is precious, whether you're a projector or not. Your energy and time is precious. Your joy is precious to you and to others. Your inspiration, your magic, your playfulness, your love, it's all precious. So treat it as such. Take your space. Claim your table. Claim your room. Take the room. Claim your power. Play big. Give yourself the time to just let things unfold. Again, especially as projectors, we're not here to do, we're here to be. You can only be in the present moment. You can't be when you're thinking about the past or worrying about the future. It's all just taking place now. Give yourself permission to feel what comes up in your body. Where does it come up in your body? And just let it move. It's just energy. And one thing that's really been coming through, and it's playing with that very consciously, is like, energy is intelligent, and it finds its own way to work its way through your body. So just acknowledging it and feeling it and not numbing it or trying to run away from it, it goes away. All of a sudden, like, you just feel it and you're aware of it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it shifted a little bit. It actually moved, like the tension and, maybe my shoulder blade, the top middle of my shoulder, my upper back has moved down a little bit, and there's a little bit more room. And then all of a sudden there's even more room, and then this joy it comes in. Okay, guys, so much information in this one. Thank you for being here for this transmission. Let me know what's coming up for you, what resonated, if there's anything else just coming up. share, comment, subscribe. You know, this, I'm really blessed. I just want to take this moment as well and to say how blessed I am with just everybody's been commenting and everybody's been sharing. I can just feel that the energy is just so, it's a very loving field that we're co-creating together and that we're sharing in together. And what I love is like, we're all connected. And when we connect from heart to heart that way, when one rises, we all rise. When one speaks their truth, we're all experiencing our truth. And when you speak your truth, you allow other people, you give permission to other people to speak their truth too and to experience their truth. And I just want to say how blessed I am for the co-creation of these moments and for the connection. And, you know, for people reaching out to me too, to potentially work with me as well in the capacity of giving people space to just to witness their transformation, whether it's in life or career or calling or as an entrepreneur and a business owner or a manager. Like, you know, it's that life force, allowing the life force to flow, giving room for that life force to flow, and then surrendering to where that flow wants to go. And the only way to do that is to make space and to give ourselves time and to open up and to then have the courage and the honesty to follow it where it wants to go without trying to control it, without trying to get ahead of it. Just let it move through. So that's what I'm living. That's why I'm sharing all of this. Thank you for being part of my process. And blessed to be part of your process, whether it's through just you watching this, sharing this, commenting, or reaching out and wanting to work with me. Deeply blessed, guys. We got this. We fucking got this. We got this. We're rocking this life, we're rocking this world, and we do it together. But it starts with us. And I always say we have to do the inner work on our own, but we never journey alone. Your tribe's got your back always. And this is an inclusive tribe. This is a tribe of life, a tribe of light that goes beyond this planet. But in the physical, practical terms, we're here for each other. Okay? Thank you for being there for me. Blessed to be there for you. Blessed to co-create this beautiful world. Blessed to be in it, and looking forward to seeing you on the next episode and wherever you may be. Much love to you. And yeah, see you soon.
Ciao.